if I can say so, not only has it not got anything to do with race, but the bit that Miriam has not mentioned, which it has a very great deal to do with, is religion. This has a great deal to do with religion, and we have not so far discussed the religious aspect of this, because Islamic State calls itself Islamic State for a reason.
Douglas Murray is at it again. In the iconic interview on BBC.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's a girl Veromoa, and I'm back with another reaction video. Today guys, I'm going to be reacting to Modern Wisdom, and we have Let's Talk About Your Religion Then. Douglas Murray silences Muslim politician with facts. So we are back with a Muslim argument, the whole Hamas situation thing. If you haven't been following up, please check my playlist. I have a few videos on that. So, but before we continue, if you're new to the channel, hello, I'm Vera. I do reaction videos. If it is something that you love, why not join Vera City? Hit the subscribe button below, turn on the post notification bell so that you can always be the first person to know whenever a new video drops. With that being said, let's continue, guys.
He debates a Muslim about policies around how returning jihadists who have committed crimes overseas should be treated by the government and the broader impact of the Islamic religion in Western culture. Douglas Murray argued that the traditional route of prosecution faces significant obstacles, primarily due to the difficulty in gathering concrete evidence against individuals who have committed crimes overseas. As a result, he advocated for a multifaceted strategy to address this issue. He also addressed the elephant in the room, the influence of religion in shaping the views of people who become jihadists. Douglas Murray did not hold back. Watch.
Miriam, why do you say that it's there's a racial aspect to taking away somebody's citizenship if they're suspected to be an Islamic extremist?
Because where are you supposedly sending them back to? Let's take the most recent case of a young man who is who's of Vietnamese origin, but who's a British citizen.
This is the one going through the Supreme Court.
Absolutely, he's going through the Supreme Court at the moment. Britain wants to take away his citizenship. Vietnam says he's got nothing to do with us. He's not a Vietnamese citizen as far as they're concerned. The only reason that we can consider taking away his citizenship is because we do not regard him as fully British. And that is a racialised
if I could just correct
Let's
that.
correct me,
The problem about what Miriam's just said, among other things, is you can do the thought experiment another way. Let's say a pseudo-state was set up in another country in the world.
It's not a state.
I know it's not a state. You know it's not a state. They think they're a state. They call themselves a state. And a lot of people who burn their passports or go over to fight for them believe they are a state. Let's pretend another pseudo-state was set up from any other religious or other kind of background. If people from Britain were going to that state of any background or any origin, and they were cutting off people's heads and raping women and children and so on, I think this country would take a rather tough stance about it. And I think, among other things, one of the things we would look at was withdrawal of passports, among other things. If you say you are signed up to this appalling state, then maybe we take you at your word.
Miriam's case is there is a racial element.
But there should not ever be.
But
I think something Miriam said that we really must come back on is that somebody is not considered fully British.
Absolutely.
You are either British or you're not.
Well, then you can't withdraw somebody's citizenship. They're British citizens, and we have to deal with it.
If I can say so, not only has it not got anything to do with race, but the bit that Miriam has not mentioned, which it has a very great deal to do with, is religion. This has a great deal to do with religion, and we have not so far discussed the religious aspect of this, because Islamic State calls itself Islamic State for a reason. They follow certain principles, misguided in your opinion, misguided in my opinion, but certain principles that they say they derive from Islam.
All right, let Miriam answer that.
Oh my goodness, why wouldn't they allow Douglas Murray talk? Why wouldn't they just allow him talk? Like, you guys have been talking, but whenever he wants to speak, you guys keep interrupting. Then this Muslim lady, you're complaining, you keep complaining. Why don't you go back to your country? I think there are about 56 Islamic countries in the world, yet you choose to live in the UK. Why not go back to your country? If you're not okay with the UK standard, go back to your own country. It's as simple as that, right? Why do the lady have problem sitting down and just listening? Sit down quietly and listen to Douglas. Okay guys, let's go on.
of this has to take them at their
Miriam
word
answer
to
that.
some extent.
Well, I mean, I think it's very interesting that we would sort of try and essentialise Islamic State. They're very much like any cult or, if you like, I think you
Any
can
cult,
compare
you look
them,
at their
if I could just
origins.
finish, if you compare them to any sort of cult or gang, there are usually some similarities with the broader concept from which they're derived. So you get cults that are derived from Christianity.
Sure.
Very similarly, you would say that Daesh or Islamic State is derived from Islam in some way.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is to take things at face value and to certainly to corroborate their narrative by accepting their view that it is a state and that they have the legitimacy to call themselves Islamic. It's problematic.
The Waco group in Waco some years ago, everyone was interested in the religious claims they were making when they decided to become this millenarium crazy cult. If I can just finish. This is a crucial thing we cannot avoid. I know it's uncomfortable. I know we want to keep avoiding it. But the religious aspect, which Miriam didn't want to talk about, is a vital part of this discussion. And it's reliant upon Muslims.
Why can't you allow him talk? This lady, like, allow Douglas talk, for goodness sakes. Why do you keep interrupting? Come on. I think it's even wrong for a woman to talk over a man in their religion, right? Because, you know, Islam, there are so many rules in their religion.
Muslims of all kinds to take
if
that
I thought it was vital,
and
Douglas,
tackle it.
I absolutely would bring it back. But I think what's important is when you look at, for example, these rehabilitation programs, because that's what we're talking about here, is how to deal most effectively with the threat, is that we are talking about using methods that have been shown to be effective in other contexts and with other groups.
And
those are, can I just finish? They are methods that have been used in criminology and criminal studies for decades, and they've got nothing to do with Islam. They just happen to be effective.
We're going to
but
have to let
ISIS
you
does
finish
have
this.
a lot to do with Islam.
We're going to have to.
Douglas
Did you guys hear what she said there? She was like, can I just finish? Yet you have not been allowing him to finish. Yet you're telling him, can I just finish? You keep interrupting him, interrupting. Now you're saying, can you just finish? I mean, who does that? Come on. Who does that? Gosh. Let's go.
Murray's stance on addressing the complexities of jihadists, returning to the UK emphasizes a crucial aspect often overlooked, the influence of Islamic religion on extremism. Murray points out that even if jihadists misinterpret Islam, the religion's perceived influence on their actions cannot be ignored. Douglas Murray has been vocal about the challenges of integrating Islamic beliefs within Western societies, particularly concerning the radical interpretations that lead to jihadist ideologies. He, alongside other commentators like Sam Harris and Ayaan Hirsi Ali, points out that while the majority of Muslims live peacefully, there's a non-negligible fraction whose interpretation of Islam poses a security threat. Harris and Hirsi Ali emphasize the need for a candid conversation about the elements within Islamic doctrine that jihadists exploit to justify violence. Murray's argument is that ignoring the ideological roots of jihadism under the guise of cultural sensitivity not only hinders the fight against extremism, but also fails to protect the values of liberal democracy. I totally agree with Douglas Murray on this one. In a society that prizes free speech, addressing the root causes of ideological extremism is essential, especially when these ideologies stem from religious interpretations that clash with democratic values. Simply enacting policies without engaging with the underlying beliefs can be ineffectual. It's important to foster open dialogues about religion, where constructive criticism is distinguished from phobia or hate speech. We should be able to talk about the influence of Islam on certain people without being labeled as Islamophobic. This is what free speech is all about.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Douglas Murray talks too much truth. And this woman just cannot seem to handle it. I think these Muslims should just go back to their country. They should go back to their country so that we can have peace. Since they are not contented, they should go back to their country. No Muslim will ever condemn terrorism. It says so much about their religion. What baffled me the most was when she said, let me finish. When she herself wasn't even allowing Murray to finish. For real, in my own opinion, I feel like Muslims should definitely go back to where they're coming from, go to your country so that there can be peace. Okay? Since they are not satisfied, they're not contented with the UK. You know, I've heard so much about these Muslims. Some saying that the UK, they should not drink publicly. it's a sin. Imagine you're going to another person's country and you still have the guts to be telling them what is right and what is wrong when you are just a squatter. They don't even want you in their country in the first place. They accepted you, they are telling them what they should do and what they should not. I mean, it is crazy. What are your thoughts on this? What do you guys think about this video? Drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up and please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, join Veracity. Hit the subscribe button below, turn on the post notification bell so that you can always be the first person to know whenever a new video drops. And that's guys, see you in my next video. Bye.